Welcome on the show, Thursday, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Now, I want to discuss something that I'll come to you later. Me and you are fighting today because tonight, 7:45, is Chelsea against Manchester United. And that's massive, really. I don't like it very much right now.
I have mixed loyalties. Obviously, I want my Chelsea to win every game, but I am an avid Cristiano Ronaldo fan.
Yeah.
I feel like what they've done to him at Manchester United is an injustice to his legend.
I don't think so.
I think when you're that good, think about this.
Ronaldo, unfortunately, has the passion the Manchester United fans have. The other players in the team don't have that passion.
Yes, but it's an injustice to him that he, at 37, has to carry the team on his back.
He has the passion.
And then has to carry the bulk of the insults and the disparagement about how badly the team is doing. Questions are being raised whether he is the reason why the team isn't doing so well. If you look week in, week out, you see that there's no passion amongst these players. So how can Ronaldo's presence be the reason why it's not just about tactics with this team. It's about conviction, it's about work ethic, it's about passion. And those three things are not present. You can set up the team with the best tactician. You can set them up with the best tactics. I heard recently that Rangnick has been so upset. All the trouble that all the insults people are throwing at Ralph Rangnick's in his direction, he is so upset that everything they train to do during training, during the week,
doesn't happen like full of play.
They go into the match and it goes out the window. And I get that sometimes when a manager comes into a team, depending on the ease of the tactic, the ease to understand it and grasp what he's trying to teach the players, it might take 6 months, it might take a year to really embed the players into that way of thinking.
We'll come to that later. That's about another match. Now, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, President Patrice Motsepe, has urged African businesses, governments and entrepreneurs at the Forbes Under 30 Africa Summit to invest in young people and football to build a better Africa. Mr. Motsepe revealed his mind in Gaborone, Botswana, where the Forbes Under 30 Africa Summit is taking place. There are 54 member associations on the CAF. Now, this is what we've been talking about. And if you want my opinion, I have a lot of respect for the sports minister because he was like, the government does not have money. So he begged Dangote to do the Abuja Stadium. He begged Baba Jebu to do the Surulere Stadium. And it's taking shape. Abuja, fantastic. We're still going to go to stadiums today, but Abuja, fantastic. Surulere, getting better gradually. And this guy is saying, come, you guys can get involved. You can't make money from our country and not put in enough.
It's true. It's true. Every time private individuals come into the country and they want to attach their names to the biggest sporting events going on in the nation, sure, they're doing it for their own bottom line. But in order to take money out, you need to invest money in. And there isn't enough investment. There isn't enough private involvement in our sports. We can say that our NFF president, his specialty is raising the brand recognition for the Super Eagles, but we can criticize him on the sporting side. But it feels to me like there isn't enough personal responsibility on the part of private sector to involve itself in the sports. Most of the time when sporting events are going on, we see their names plastered. But what about when there is no sporting event?
It's unfortunate that you watch the English Premier League, for example, or you watch rugby, or you watch sports that are not even popular in Nigeria, and you see Nigerian companies being plastered around the stadium like, wow. Why are these guys not You watch the South African League, for example, SAFA, and you're like, this is blah, blah, blah. A communication company or a soft drink company that is basically Nigerian. And they are plastered on their shirts. And then you watch our own footballers in the Nigerian League, and we complain about structure not being good. Where we see Nigerian companies with their shirts plastered.
You see,
Come on.
if these private companies were taking more of a personal responsibility for the way, the shape, and the representation of our sports in Nigeria, they would be automatically stakeholders. They would be the atlas holding up the world of our sports. And if they shrug, our sports minister, our NFF president, our cricket boards, our athletics presidents, they would be immediately being queried. What have you done wrong that these private sector guys are fleeing? And the question, and then when an investigation is done, when we are asking the questions, the necessary questions, it will come to light that the reason why these private sectors, these companies are not as invested anymore is because they don't like the structure. They don't like that the sports is corrupt, it's rotten to the core, the way everything is set up isn't bringing out the best of our abilities on the sporting stage and the world. But there is not that personal responsibility to begin with that you can then pull the rug from underneath these administrators to have them stand up
Before I go
responsible.
to the next story, which is part of what we're talking about, would you say accountability would
It's-
be?
it's
Because you see,
basic-
you and I know the Nigerian system. We have accountability problems. And these private investors might feel like we will be accountable for the monies we've expended. Really.
But the truth is,
There would be.
But the truth is, if you're a private sector person, if you own some big company in Nigeria, or even if it's a pure water company, and you're putting money into our sports, you're not beholden to anyone. It's like you giving a charity donation, a charitable donation. You're not beholden to outline why or how it's a
It's
charitable.
about making money, profits.
But at the same time, companies, especially publicly traded ones, have a social responsibility.
True that.
We all know this. We may not be knocking on their doors and telling them, you need to hire more people, you need to alleviate poverty in the country. But you need to benefit your community. And every company does that in some fashion.
Okay, we'll come to that later, but I hope Kay can help me do this. The question is, before I go to my next topic, is the English Premier League the best league in the world?
Unquestionable.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that. No,
Unquestionably.
not on TV though, technically now. But we'll come to that. Now, on a Tuesday morning, sometime in April, footballers were training at the Ondo Township Stadium football pitch, as this was a daily routine. Nothing seemed unusual until a heavy rain started, and about 24 footballers started running for shelter. The stands, who will have served as a shelter, have no roof. The roofing sheet, which was installed recently, had been blown off by a rainstorm. Adeyeju Johnson, a 26-year-old who plays for a local club, Dominion Football Club, was one of the scampering footballers. He recalled that the stadium was in a bad state before a recent intervention by the Ondo State government to give it a lift. However, he added the renovation was only cosmetic, as the stadium still lacks many amenities. Now, built in 1976, the Ondo Township Stadium has served as a breeding ground for several athletes in the Asian town. The functional part of the stadium consists of a racetrack, a football pitch, and an administrative block. Also within the large expanse of land is an abandoned table tennis court. The remaining part of the stadium is currently used for farming. I don't want to read the rest. This is, I remember vividly the Abuja Stadium before Dangote took over and actually constructed it. You would see cows grazing in a national stadium in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. But now, this is just a case study. I'm not discussing Ondo Township. I'm talking about stadiums across the country and how they look like. You go to some stadiums or stadiums in Nigeria and you can't sit down on the chair unless you put a cloth. You can't.
Sure. The truth is, there isn't enough of a priority in maintaining our infrastructures, no matter what area of our economy that those infrastructures make up, whether it's roads, bridges, stadiums. It's just the way of things. And what is really damning about it is that when it comes to sport, we've said it before, sport is an opium for the masses. It's an escape, it's a release, it's something you look forward to at the end of the week to go do. And if our sports was properly maintained, if our structures were good, every weekend we wouldn't all just be glued to our TVs watching the Premier League. We would also step out, go out into the world and watch matches live. That's the benefit of living in a country where a sporting event is happening. If it's properly managed, if the situation is good, you take pride in going out with your friends. It's a destination. Unfortunately, we don't have that. And why it's so damning is that if this is an opium for the masses, if the politicians are always looking for ways to distract us and looking for ways to keep us ready and willing to come vote for them in the next general election, why are you not ensuring that the supply of that opium is uninterrupted?
Okay, so Coyote is going to help me out with this one. Is the English Premier League the best league in the world? And I'll tell you why I'm asking that. The UEFA Champions League semi-final results are out. There are two Premiership teams in the league. And last season, there was an English Premier League team there. 2 seasons ago, it was two Premiership teams against each other. We've got Man City 4, Real Madrid 3, Liverpool 2, Villarreal 0, which means there's a large possibility that City and Liverpool again will meet. Now, let's leave TV rights and how will they watch them. Are these the best?
Yes.
Is this the best league in the world?
Yes.
Technically, now.
Yes, absolutely. They have the best coaches in the world. The best players flock to the league from around the world. The accomplishments in Europe in the last 5 to 10 years speaks for itself, not just at Champions League level, but at Europa level. And even now, a West Ham has an opportunity to go win the Europa League for the first time in their history. I don't think that is coincidental. I don't think that should still allow us to ask this question, is it the best league in the world? And when you add on top of it the viewership numbers, it becomes a question that you can no longer argue against. The technicality of football being played in England is as good as it is anywhere else
I think it's
in
just
Europe.
fast-paced. I don't think
even
the Spanish La Liga, they play more technical football. But the English Premier League is fast-paced.
But even with that fast pace, you have to ask yourself, if the game is happening at such a fast pace during the same 90 minutes, are we not getting more football for our money?
True, right?
And when you look at Spain nowadays, matches end up going over time by 6, 7, 8. Last 2 nights ago, this weekend that just passed, there was a match that ended with 11 minutes injury time. That's because of all the disruption, all of the sluggishness in their football that ends up leading to such ridiculous overtime. Premier League is dominating in every factor.
Okay, so the question is, well, Mokael is a London boy, though, but he totally agrees that the English Premier League is the best league in the world. You can call when you want. Okay, but Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola, hailed the spectacular football his side played in their 4-3 Champions League semi-final first leg. Now the question would be, can Real Madrid turn around?
Absolutely. Even without
Carry Benzema, Vinicius
even
Jr.
without playing well. They didn't play well. They finished the game with just 1 goal difference, scoring 3 goals away. Now, if the away goals rule was still in place, we would all be saying this is Real Madrid's match. This is Real Madrid's tie. They've already won it because we all know they will score at home. Whether the Blues, the City Blues.
Let's listen to what Pep Guardiola has to say. I will come back. We did this yesterday. We'll do this again today. Now, Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp called on his side to stay completely alert after the Ondo Champions League semi-final first leg win over Villarreal. Now, can we say that Klopp is only being...
No, he's not. He's not being paranoid. He's not being
cautious. Is he being modest? Like,
no,
okay, come on.
He's not being modest because even if this wasn't Villarreal, even if this Villarreal team...
But this is Villarreal, come on.
Even if this Villarreal team hadn't beaten Juventus over 2 legs, beaten Bayern Munich over 2 legs. And Bayern Munich, surprisingly, in the last 2 seasons, we haven't had the opportunity to see how well they would play at the semi-finals because they're always a major threat that most teams don't want to go up against. And we would always say that if Liverpool went up against Bayern Munich or if Man City went up against Bayern Munich, that game would be a bloody affair. Let's Villarreal beat them.
Klopp has to say about his chances in the second leg in the semi-finals. Welcome back. So I'm leaving you with tennis on the show today. Okay, and I want to say a big thank you, Bukayo. Tonight, we're not going to be friends.
Like I said, I'm rooting for Ronaldo, but I don't know if I can root for him to win.
Okay.
If he scores, that's
okay.
Good
He's
enough
rooting for Ronaldo, but he doesn't. He's not rooting for him to win. I don't know who does that. How you can speak from 2 sides of your mouth.
if he does well, I'm good. If he scores and walks away with in the match with his head held high, and it's the likes of Bruno Fernandes who mess up or Maguire who causes, then
whatever, really. Sheye Motayo, thank you very much. He's behind the cameras. You don't see him, but he makes you see us. Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you very much, Ajasa AJ. Thank you very much, K Coyote. He's always got my back. Thank you very much, Delectable Ego. She insists I do that. Thank you very much, Paul George, PG. Okay, thank you very much. Join us same time tomorrow, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I leave you with Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, who won his opening match to advance to the quarterfinals of the Estoril Open. My name is Wally Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.